little bit of a radius down on the bottom there, but I would say between 160, 165. We can also take our monkey shit, put it in here, and we can measure across this top here, and we're getting about the same thing. You know, that's some close shit, huh? So I mean, you know, this is just, I mean, it's simple. I mean, we know that that's soft material and everything else, but you know, by eye, that's what you're doing. You know, you get your eye for it. So I mean, you know, we're right there. So we're going to be going a little deeper. We're going to be going a little wider. Getting on the way. We're getting ready to make our next pass, and what I think I like to do is come down to our depth of 165, and then come out and match the width we have right now. And what I want to do is go ahead and just double check straight across here, because we know that that outside diameter is like 2,465 on the spline, and we're at 2,320. So we're basically about 140 thousandths to go. Divided by 2 is about 70. So if we go another 65 thousandths, we're still going to be about 5,000 shy from what we're going to be if it was metal to metal contact. That's a good dimension to go. So we're going to verify that we can actually go another 65 on the depth, and we're going to plan on doing that. Now we want to know at 165 what's the width on our cutter, and then we're going to go ahead and know from there, because we know the root or the width at the opening there, rough guesstimate, and that's what we're going to be working at now. So I'm going ahead and turn it around so we're going the right direction. Okay, and at 165, our depth, or I mean, at the depth of 165, our width at our cutter will be 225 thousandths, and the width there is is 330. So we still have 110 thousandths to go. 330 is our major width. So we'd still have 120 to go either side. So we could come out to our 50 a little bit. We're going to go ahead and do one groove. We're going to go down and we're going to come out 50 thousandths on each side, and we're going to take a width measurement of that groove, and we're going to decide, and we're also going to see how it cuts. If it cuts fairly well, then we know that we can go ahead and take a little bit more off of our width, so we can sneak up onto it, because we know that this is fat in the middle, and we know that we have to have more room in there, but we want to get down to depth as well. So we're gonna play around with this first cut and find out what it can really, what it'll take. I don't want to push it. I mean, we're doing good. This bit, we haven't had to sharpen it or anything yet, and or make a new one. We haven't crashed it, and so far, knock on wood. Here we go. We're going to throw a little oil in here before it can. Alright, now we're going to get her stroking. Okay, we're right in the middle of that groove. And right there is 100 thousandths, and it's just barely touching the bottom of that groove. And we can see the oil being white. Another 10,000. should come out pretty close to that radius line that we put out there in the front, just for an eyeball. Okay, I'm going to stop it. Alright. And we are right down there to that radius. That sweeping line right there. Alright. Looking good. Okay, now we're going to go ahead, we're going to go side to side. Okay, first off we're going to go that direction there, just like we did the rest of them. Okay, I think we're at the last 15,000 to come out to our 50, and I think we're starting to touch the side. Yeah, we got a full side cut right now in that cutter at 165,000 deep. There's 50 on our width. I'm just letting it spring cut a little bit. Alright, now we're coming back. Alright, there is 0. Okay, we're starting to pick up the whole side. And more to go. There's 50. And we let it give it a spring cut here, a little fresh oil. Okay, and we take her back to 0. Okay, we stop and we make sure that we come back above our 100,000s that we were down before for the next cut. Alright, now we'll go ahead. I'm going to blow just a little air in here so you can see. Alright, and we're going to rotate it to the next one here. That'll bring that tooth up so you should be able to see that just a little bit better right there. That at this angle is pretty hard, but I know a 300 are a little better right now. Alright, we're going to go around and we're going to do each one of them, and then we'll catch you up after we make it the third time around the block here. Alright. more measurements. Let's have just a little bit of quiet now because we're getting real close, and you know, we could luck out and we could do this on one more pass. And I think, you know, it's within 15 thousandths all the way around. Diameter, I'm measuring, we got a diameter here of 2460, and we're like right at that right now. That's what we measured on the OD there. We also, we got our little monkey shit comparator here, and by eye, looking pretty darn close there. I've taken and measured across, best I can guess, right in this area right here, and we're like 190, and we could be, the root over there is about 165, and the root down in here I'm measuring like 180, and we know that the root on the top there is like 210. So all the increments together kind of tell us that we could take 15 aside off, and we could probably take a total of about 7 on the depth there. So we have a pretty good, this wants to be a slip fit on here. The mounting ring for that, they welded it in place, and they took dial indicators and they sweeped it within about 10 thousandths. So this can't be butt tight, and we want to make sure that the straight shank that's with the keyway is a little tighter, and this can have a little bit of room to work. And I'm also, I got to drill a hole in here to probably create a hole for the keyway on the straight part that we're going to be putting in here, and I might incorporate a plug to go back in there with a zerk fitting to put grease in between this thing so that it always is able to feed this with some grease. Alright, so we're going to come on in, we're going to go for 7 thousandths on the depth and 15 more on the side all the way around. And hopefully that'll be our last walk around the block. We brought this back in. We decided to go ahead and we're going to take 5 thousandths off of the depth because the diameter is so close. We're reading almost the same dimension. So I just want to take another skim so we got 5 thousandths there. And on the two sides there, measuring the root and the crown of the spline area, comparing one to the other, we decided to take 15 side to side. So we're going to go down, we're going to touch, take 5, and we're going to go side to side, and instead of going to 50 each direction, we're going to go ahead and take 65 in each direction. And that should narrow us out to where that should slip onto the spline. Alright, here we go. Okay, we're coming up on the depth right here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and crank in. Okay, there's 5. Now we're going to leave it right there for the whole duration. So now we're just going to go side to side and switch it to the new tooth. It's touching at 45, that's 55 right there. And there's 60. Alright, there's 65. Just going to let it coast there for a little bit. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. Okay, there's 45 going the other way. There's 50. 55. 58. Back to 0, and we're going to stop. Now I'm going to pull it out because I want to measure the root and just double check, verify that I'm at least getting that section there before I go to the next two. Alright, loosen a little right here, come on back. Okay, I'm getting like 2.7, 2.8 there. I'm happy, I'm going to go with that because I believe that's worth the check. Alright, we're going to go around and we're going to call this our finished cut, and we're going to pull the part out. And then we're going to slip fit it or check it to the spline. Also, we'll be able to get in there with our polishing tools, and we're going to polish a radius on the top, and we're going to do a blue check and a couple other things here as well. It may fit right on. We may be that lucky. Or we may have to put it in here and take some more. Alright, now we're leaving the depth set there because we're only taking 4 or 5, and we know it should be cutting right there, right off the bat. And ready. And it did. Okay, we're going to come down here to about 40. Alright, now we're sneaking up onto it. We are touching that at about 45. There's 55. Okay, 65. We're going to let a spring cut there, a couple strokes like we did before. Okay, now we come back. We head off to the other direction. 30, 40. Okay, I can feel it rubbing at 45. 52, 55. 58. There's 60. Okay, 65, and we let her float there for a couple of minutes. Or a couple of strokes, that's what you say. Okay, back to 0. Alright, we're going to continue all the way around, and when we get back there, we're going to pull this out. This is 4 trips around the block, and our over outside dimension is about 2, 4, 68, 69, and we had 2, 4, 60 on the OD of that. We got a little bit of clearance there. The crown of the tooth there was like 200, 210, and we're about 212, 215. The root down in there was I believe like 160 or so, 165, and I'm getting somewhere around 160, 155 in there. So I think in all dimensions this should slip on there, with the exception that these are sharp corners still. There's no radius on these here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop it out of here, but before we pop it out, there is a chance that we may have to put this back in. And I've got my head set back at 0 point again, and I'm going to use this jaw right here and this surface gauge tip here with a carbide tip here, and I'm going to scribe a line across here. Alright, and that is going to be my alignment tool right there. I'll be able to put this back in against the chuck and then rotate it. Now I want to make sure that I recognize this line here, so I'm just going to give it 2 little V lines right there and just a quickie Sharpie on the dot there. Alright, now I know that I can pull this out and I can put it back in, and I'm going to have to live with that close enough as far as location and rotation. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to blow it out, and I'm going to take a couple pictures from this side as well. We blow it out and everything looks good here. I don't know. Let's see what we got here. She wants to go on there. And get my flashlight, take a look down in there. Like I said, I haven't done any sanding on the roots or the radiuses, and that looks like what I need to do. Okay, I see the light. I see the light over all surfaces except for right where the radius of the tooth would be engaging with the other tooth itself. So down in the root and on the top here, more so down in the root, because those are on my part. These here are already radiused here, and I need to. I believe there's already room for that, because I've created somewhat of a square. All right, I'm going to take a picture down into the center here so that we can. I'm going to take and go over and take my little rotary porting tool, radius drum type thing, and I'm going to work each one of these right on down there. Probably I'm going to maybe hit it with a little draw file or whatever, but just basically that little radius or breaking that corner right there is all that needs to be done on each one of these all the way around. I've deburred it, massaged it all inside here to a point where I can also, now I can look at it and it almost like wants to slide on here, and I can actually look through with light shining through here and I can see that it just needs a little tiny bit more. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and try to give you a little video looking down in the hole here with my other camera, and you can see it just It's the scotch all the way around. Okay, so it's just a little tight. We got this in here and we can barely slip it back and forth. Okay, now we want to line this perfectly up with where that was right there, and I can almost feel like the jaws kind of detented in. Jaws always leave somewhat of a mark, especially in annealed steel. Alright, we're going to call that 0. Alright, looks good on the line up. I'm scribing right in the same line there. Alright, so if you wanted to know if it's really possible to reset up, I've done it several times before, and anyhow, I'm set up and I'm going to trust that line and I'm going to trust that position. And what I'm going to do is I'm going back down to there, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it another 5/1000 bump so that I can create a little bit of clearance. The tooth contacts the side is where I see the contacts. So let's go ahead. Let's get her cutting. Alright, and okay, right there's our mark. Still on the 0 there. And we'll call that 0 there. We're good on the stroke. We're here on 0. And our height here, we're at the exact height there, about 5/1000 more. Alright, we get the cutting along there. And I am going to raise this up just a little bit, about 15 thousandths, just to make sure that we are clearing and everything is set up exactly the way it was. And always like hold your breath, you know. Okay, that part's good. Okay, I'm just going to bring it down to my 40 here. This looks good. Alright, our first side here, we're going to roll it on over. We're at 65. There's 50. Flashlight. We'll use this one. I'm just looking for signs of chips. I don't see any chips yet. Okay, right there. I've taken it out to 75 more than what we had on it. Well, we might have been within, we were within 5/1000 of the rotation of our line there. That's what it's telling me. If my dial doesn't move. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. If it went 5, then we should be touching it like 55 here. There's 50. There's 55. Excuse me, we should be touching at 60. There's 61. Okay, it's touching at 65. So it, you know, we definitely are feeding it 5/1000 more each way. Going down to the depth now. I just want to make sure that we are 100% where we were. Okay, now I'm gonna go all the way back to the first side here again. Okay, next two. So we put it back in, and we took a little bit off of the width because we were real snug. We ended up touching a little bit on the diameter all around, and we're able to get a nice slide fit in here, and we're not real tight because this register here, they know that they're within 10 thousandths of dialing this register into the mating shaft here, and the face run out here. Of course, it was a weldment in place, and so that you don't want this thing 100% butt tight. All right, now we have a 5/8 straight key that we got to put in on this side here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure in. We're going to go ahead and drill a hole in from here, and we're going to create that broached keyway in line with that hole so that we have a place for our tool bit to break the chip loose, just like we did on this little groove inside here on the back side. And we have a few things that we got to roll over and fix in there, but it's pretty much everything assembles from this side right here, and nothing really comes up to that inside edge there. So I'm pretty happy with that. And it's been a while since I've done a spline or a gear internal. Alright,